Welcome everybody into our Dev Hacks 360 channel, and as always on weekly podcast with Vasyl, test automation guru. Today we're going to discuss very sensitive topic about no-code, low-code solution for web automation against vanilla Playwright. Vasyl, welcome.
Hi there. Nice to be here.
Absolutely. For those folks who haven't subscribed to our channel yet, we do weekly podcast right now talking about sensitive topics in test automation, in the quality assurance field, in a career, and we touch various topics across mobile and web automation for now. And as we move forward within the time, we're going to actually extend it to other topics like security testing, AI testing, machine learning, which is part of the AI, as well as the blockchain. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit the subscribe button and hit notification button down below, so you're not going to miss our weekly podcast. And as always, our sponsor of our channel, Marathon Labs, which helps you to run your mobile tests in the speed of light. If you have thousands of tests and need to run them each pull request under 15 minutes, that's what they do the best. Again, you can find the link to their website in the description of today's video. And if you have any questions about test automation, if you struggle with your job, if you have any issues, or would like just talk to the experts, we have a Discord channel, dedicated channel for test automation folks. So again, you can find the link to join our community down below. And saying all this, we would like to segue to our topic and talk about no-code, low-code test automation solutions such as Zero Step as well as the Auto Playwright against the vanilla Playwright, which is actually developed by Microsoft. All right, so let's get down to the business. So please stay until the end, because we're going to reveal interesting facts at the end, which actually will make a decision for you. Either you should stay with the Playwright or should try those no-code, low-code solution. All right, Vasyl, let's start from the basics. Could you explain what is a Zero Step and is why it is being promoted as no-code solution? I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube. I see you show the YouTube videos that promoting this solution. What is this?
Yeah, listen, as you can see, there is a ton of the content on YouTube about codeless automation, the low-code automation framework, and all of them are like perfect, and you don't need any coding knowledge on a first glance. But speaking about specifically about Zero Step and why we choose it for today's demo. So Zero Step is designed actually as a no-code automation tool, or like low-code, I would say rather, and meaning that you can build tests simply by clicking through the browser and doing some small manipulation with the code. In this case, the idea is actually that you don't need technical expertise, right, to set up and run the test. And the zero-step advantages over the no-code solution that you still can manipulate in your code base, right? So I'm just scrolling through their website, and basically their syntax looks like that we are using the AI function where we're telling what we need to do on our web page step by step.
Amazing. I'm sure there's a cost associated with this. It's not free, and we're gonna cover costs at the end. So again, stay until the end, folks, with us, because we're gonna find, we're gonna discover interesting facts about these solutions. All right, could you show how the Zero Step actually works? It would be interesting for the folks who are watching our podcast to see like what is actually installation, setup, and comparison, with Zero Step versus the vanilla Playwright APIs.
Sure. I prepared some small demo here. I'm sharing the screen now, Igor.
Great.
There we go. So I didn't prepare, to be honest, I didn't prepare any live demo. Just, the Murphy law, that things always go bad once I'm doing the live demo. So I prepared the recording here. To be full straight, the installation of this tool was easy, right? But the setup of its own took me definitely more than 20 minutes to to have first success run with this. So before I start to run the any function or something, I did set up the token, and just then after it I import the necessary functions to actually run the zero step. And in here, I'm trying to actually write some prompts for zero step, like typed and search in a search box. We're using booking.com here, so just a simple website for looking for some property to stay. And the thing is that I was actually trying to run those tests, and the tests were failing like on the third or something step, and those steps were pretty much similar, pretty simple. Because the thing is that I wasn't running any mocks or something. I was only running, closing the pop-ups, like signing in, choosing the dates, like no complex stuff. But here is the test run, and let's see how would the zero step behave. So in here, we are opening the booking.com page, waiting for it to be loaded. Then we're expecting the pop-up itself, and we need to close this pop-up now. So far I can see we are stuck in here with this pop-up. Still something is going on. Oh, nope. My bad. We actually moved forward, but still failed at some step.
Interesting. To me, it looks like basically you are supplying a commands to AI component, which is actually try to find on the web page text to interact with. But
Right.
like comparing to the vanilla, plain Playwright, the one we using mostly in test automation, I'm curious when I have like hundreds of this tests, like, and there's no obviously any abstraction like page object. How are you going to manage all of this, right? I mean, like, how are
Yeah.
you actually going to manage the stability and maintainability of that framework compared to Playwright?
So definitely is the one which is hard to answer, because the only thing comes to my head is to to use the cucumber approach, to have some, I don't know, some separate files with the prompts. But again, this is AI, and the prompt cannot really control those prompts, etc. So I'm not sure where to keep those. Right. In this case, I spent like around more than 20 minutes to just make one test be fully workable with this AI. So again, this we have a simple UI, like nothing, no APIs or something. We're just interested in the GUI test. But with the Playwright, what you can do is just to run the test recorder. Right, it will pick the like most obvious selectors, but still, it will pick the live selectors or the text elements. In there, we have a control, so you also don't have to know the particular things to a lot of like things about the Playwright or GS to actually make those tests run.
Gotcha.
So
So it's basically for manual testers, right, that have no experience in coding whatsoever and they want to do some sort of automation, and you would like to use a zero step as a solution.
yeah,
So try it
I guess
out.
so.
Interesting. Okay, so you told me that it took you 20 minutes to actually do the first test, but if you use I know Playwright out of the box have record and playbacks, feature. So how would you compare that to the zero step? Like, would you recommend manual testers don't bother with the zero step, just go to Playwright and record and playback? What are your thoughts about this?
I would definitely prefer for the newcomers to the automation testing who wants to use some low code or no code. First, just try the Playwright recorder. It is insanely good, and even if it will produce you some errors, the chat GPT always there, because the Playwright recorder work in the way that you can just pick the random selector. It pick, as I mentioned before, it pick the most obvious selectors, but still those selectors are stable and are working. So to run your first test with a Playwright with a zero setup, it would took you less than 5 minutes, I guess, depending on setup. So I would still vote to try the Playwright recorder. I know for most scalable project, right, the Playwright recorder is not the option, right? If you have 100 tests, definitely you cannot manage that. But either you cannot manage the zero-step solutions because it also will produce tons of prompts and tons of API calls, which we're going to mention after at the end of this video once we speak about the costs.
Okay, that was a great demo and a conversation about zero step. But we mentioned to the folks we're also going to cover another no code, low code solution called Auto Playwright. So, Vasyl, do you have anything to show to our folks what it is? Maybe you have a demo to share with us.
Yeah, so to be fully objective, there's another tool called Auto Playwright, as you mentioned, Igor. It's similar to zero step. It's also promised like low code solution without really writing code. And so let's see how it would handle the booking.com test. All right. As before, the installation part was pretty similar here. So in that case, instead of paying the zero step, we are actually in the zero step solution, we did pay the zero step solution for API calls. But with the Auto Playwright, there's a difference because we just connecting the some LLM model. In this case, it proposing a GPT-4. So we just access our GPT token into the Auto Playwright. So I spent some time for the installation here, but that was quick as I only needed the ChatGPT token here to install it. By the way, it's also worth to mention that if you want to try those solutions yourself and or see our solution, we also prepared those on a GitHub. The link will be provided in the description to this video.
That's amazing. That's great. So you have already you push the code there for the folks to see like how those things are working. That's great.
Exactly. There is separate branches and they are explicitly named like Auto Playwright or Zero Step. So feel free to check those out.
So can you walk us what's happening on the screen right now? You recorded this to emit the live demo, so the folks can understand the difference between zero step and Auto Playwright.
Yeah, so as you can see, those are super similar. We do not really know what is going on under the hood. Comparing the both solutions, we don't know what's going on under the hood. But in case of the Auto Playwright, we still have this this control of the cost itself, because we are providing our token and we can put the limitation. So there's basically no much difference, but the main difference for us, we need tests to be fully working, right? And now the question is, are any of those solutions would provide us working test? So so far I see that we are failed on the second step because we didn't even close the pop-up banner, which was not the issue for the zero step.
For the folks who are watching today, I would like to mention again, those solutions are all relatively new. But like I said, if you watch the videos on YouTube, there's a lot of hype to say like, okay, you don't need to know any coding. You can start automation of the batch, but they don't actually reveal all the problems happening with those tools and the examples they show on the very simple website. We have chosen Booking.com because Booking.com is actually, I would say, a sophisticated platform, which is very similar to what you do probably at work. It has a pop-ups, it has A/B testing, it has a lot of features. And all we try to do with the test, try to book a hotel, right? I think is the idea.
Yep. So in here you can see that I'm actually debugging this test and trying to still manage to prepare the working solution for the booking. And yeah, you can see I removed a couple prompts. So I left only necessary one with the Auto Playwright. So I still didn't fully use the potential of the Auto Playwright, because for me it was faster, to just rewrite with the normal Playwright. The good thing is worth to mention here, definitely. For some cases, the Auto Playwright could work in, but if you know some Playwright, you already start to think in a way that, all right, I don't need this API call, or I don't need this, AI help. I will just replay this function by myself. It would be faster.
And now I guess we're moving to a very interesting part of today's podcast is the cost associating with using low code, no code solutions such as Auto Playwright and Zero Step. Can you, Vasyl, reveal like how much you spent on we're talking about just one test. I mean, we're not talking about hundreds of tests. What are the damage for the team if they try to use this solution? How much they have to prepare in terms of the budget?
So let's speak about the budget itself. I'm currently sharing the OpenAI page with the token calls. This was for autoplay, right? And to be honest, I spent like around 20-30 minutes doing some like test around the autoplay, right? And unfortunately, I spent around $7 because of the API calls to the OpenAI. And speaking about the zero step itself, we are spent around 200 AI calls. As you can see, there is a free solution for that. That's why there is some advantages instead of the autoplay, right? Where you cannot try, you just have to provide the ChatGPT token, right? And in here, we spend around 200 AI calls. So as I mentioned before, I spent around 20 minutes just to setting up the test. This wasn't the working solution, so I spent the 200 calls just to set up the test itself. So basically, they are providing the first solution, but the most interesting for us, it's a paid one, is a $20 per month, which is the 2,000 AI calls per month. And if you want more, of course, the cost will be raised.
So basically, if you have, regression suite of 400 tests, you need to automate that. You're probably going to go like to substantial more cost, like probably close to $1,000 per month, if not more. Not only mentioning how often you're going to run this. If you want to run this at least once a day, then you probably add up even more. Interesting. Okay. That sounds great. So let's wrap up all of our thoughts about low-code, no-code solutions such as Playwright versus Zero Step and Auto Playwright. So what is the verdict? I mean, when should our viewers consider using such low-code, no-code solutions, or in what cases they should stick to the plain Playwright? What are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, so far I see, unfortunately, those tools kind of lacking the flexibility and the power need of the complex enterprise projects. But because from my experience, the enterprise projects require mocking, interceptions, visual regression, the network testing, the accessibility, WebSockets. It's just hard for me to imagine, to work with such complex topics with such tools. For startup projects where we only setting up the test, maybe for some manual QAs who wants to switch to the Playwright, again, maybe this could be some solution. But I would highly recommend to spend more time learning the Playwright, the vanilla Playwright, instead of investing in such tools.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for spending time to debug and play with these tools. I think a lot of folks over there, especially those who try to move from manual testing to automation, get intrigued by such solutions and puzzled should they invest time learning coding like JavaScript, TypeScript, and Playwright APIs, or Cypress, or WebDriver IO, or whatever, right? Or should they enter in the test automation via such solution? I still highly recommend for everybody who are still thinking, try it themselves, would like to be very objective, always showing our experience, right? And Vasyl just shared what he experienced with Zero Step and Auto Playwright, and obviously a cost associated with that. They are not free. Good thing you mentioned about beyond functional testing, right? You mentioned that when we are covering the task pyramid, right? Task pyramid, we have to think about UI, functional test, like you mentioned, accessibility, localization testing, and also performance testing is actually used heavily right now from the functional layer. On top of that, API testing, like I know Playwright has out of the box and Cypress have out of the box solution to actually interact with the APIs. I mean, we're talking about network test, right? For the backend, as well as the mocking is another feature which I think this low code, no code solution don't have, which actually enables you to have a very stable test. Like if you need to mock out a third-party solution, third-party dependency, or mock out, like for instance, authentication. I think those low-code, no-code solution cannot provide this out of the box, which will limit you right away. And that's again, that's Vasyl thoughts and our thoughts combined. And thank you, Vasyl, again for spending time. I know we spent like probably a couple hours to play with those tools and share with the folks. Again, we try to debunk all the myth about this and be very realistic and transparent with you. I'm sure a lot of folks from these tools might hate us for that, but we try to be very honest, right? Like, and for our community. And for those folks who like what we do, please again subscribe to our channel. Every week we're gonna shoot the podcast to reveal and examine solutions around the market. Talk about test automation in depth, right? And be very transparent, very honest with you. Just to wrap things up again, Vasyl, thank you so much once again, and I guess we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I hope to see you next week.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye bye.